Hello, welcome to It's a Creativity Thing. I'm Lauri and I am so delighted to be here as a part of your journey, helping you redefine your concept of creativity and discover new ways to wake up those senses and ignite your imagination so you can be an even more glorious, more authentic you. So today we're going to explore how maybe switching up your health care can help you not only look better and feel better, but also get that creativity going, and so you are able to create the life of your dreams. Sitting next to me is the amazing goddess, Christina Marino. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
Christina is a functional health coach and nutritionalist. I can't get that out. Nutritionalist. I use nutritionalist.
Well, technically,
nutrition expert.
There's a lot of titles in there.
Yeah.
I'm an integrative nutrition and functional medicine health coach.
Okay.
It's a lot.
So we're going to learn about what all that kind of means, and first we're going to take a couple breaths and settle in. So I like to, before starting something, whatever it is, it could just be a meeting, it could be a show, it could just be your day, to just pause, take a couple breaths, set an intention in one super simple way. I do it over and over because it is super simple. 3 breaths with a sigh. So you inhale through your nose, exhale, sigh it out through your mouth, and 3 times. So ready? Okay. Inhale, and just really sigh it out. One more. Okay.
Much better.
Much better. So now you can let that, whatever your intention is, and our intention is to learn from you, and something about functional health, health coaching, and how we can just rock our best lives. So first things first, how'd you get into it? Because I know you have an interesting story about the whys, and they're always so interesting. Okay.
Well, I was sort of at a point in my life where things were just not working. It was just the traditional medical system, and I had this recurring problem, which was bad acid reflux, and nothing really seemed to help. Medications. I just one day was like, there has to be a better way. And then on my health journey, I discovered Ayurveda, which I'm pretty sure you're familiar with.
Sure.
And it was life-changing. And sort of after I had my daughter Sophia, it was a similar experience with when she was a toddler, constant ear infections and constant antibiotics. And I decided to, at some point, thought, well, you know what, maybe I should do something with this because I'm so interested, and it was life-changing for me. So I ended up going to the the Integrative Nutrition School in New York, and I became certified. And then almost immediately I was sort of struck like, hey, I want to dive deeper into this. So I started coaching, and then I moved on to the School of Applied Functional Medicine, where I learned to be a functional medicine health coach, where basically what that is, it's discovering the root cause.
Interesting.
Yes. It's all root cause medicine. So
So you're actually addressing, where it's coming from. It's not just a symptom that you're trying to, sometimes you have to patch the symptom and get it under control.
Yes.
But then dig a little deeper, and why is this happening?
Yes, absolutely.
So, yeah. So your personal experience was, once you started implementing these different modalities of investigation, and there are herbs and tinctures and medication involved per se to balance your system and get things that you're not getting on your own to help you out, right? So what was your discovery with that? Like, how did it?
Well, interestingly enough, when it comes to acid reflux, most of the time it comes from a deficiency in magnesium, something really so simple. But not so simple, because sometimes it's so it's been, after it was going on for several years, it sort of does some damage. At the same time, I believe I had leaky gut.
Okay.
So that's like a popular thing that you
Yeah.
hear today. So it's well, it also for me was low stomach acid.
Okay.
So sort of as you start to unravel, it gets a little bit, you dig a little deeper, and then of course the protocol is different. Magnesium, and there's, different supplementation for healing leaky gut, and then certain foods, certain herbs. So basically that was what, I had to do.
Right. So along with, I see you hinted at the other piece of the root cause, maybe it's not physical, the root cause, which it usually isn't, right? So you deal with the emotional aspect of it too, while
Yes.
you're diving into alleviating the physical symptoms.
Well, at the
So-
time, I did not, I was not as aware. I mean, in my approach, it was always integral and it was holistic. So it was lifestyle factors, it was food, it was environment, it was, obviously sometimes you have to supplement. But now I'm more aware of that. I kind of shifted the way I coach after the lockdown. There was this it sort of struck me where I was going through something more spiritual, and I needed to know more.
Right.
So then I started learning more about energy medicine and, the mind, body, spirit, all connected. So at the time, of course, when I was suffering from bad reflux, I didn't realize. Also, I'm sure there were many things going on at the time. I mean, I was going, I went through a divorce. I mean, there was all sorts of things that happened. And then I didn't also realize that when I had pain, I used to take a lot of Tylenol.
Okay.
So Tylenol typically will cause leaky gut. So it's these things that sort of...
Yeah. And that's dispensed so casually.
Yes.
And it's not a big deal. Just take some Tylenol. And then, there's things about certain medications like that, even, seemingly harmless, that, block the ability to heal you're on your own. And
That's a big one.
Yeah. So, interesting.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. But, with how you coach and, implementing, some people aren't ready for the emotional stuff right away.
Yeah.
And
True.
But at least if you're addressing the symptoms initially and
Yes.
getting more to a root cause there
Yes.
too, where is this coming from? And it could be recognizing the body as a whole system that's working together is also a unique, shouldn't be unique, but it's a unique concept. You're not just an arm, you're not just
Right.
an organ, a specific, your heart's connected to your whole body, and you can, you're going for acupuncture, say,
Yeah.
you're getting, there's a place on my foot when I go specifically for my, it's tied in, it's like, oh yeah, and that's gallbladder, or that's,
Isn't it amazing?
and yeah, so it's right, it's working in conjunction with everything. So, you may have a symptom pop up somewhere, and traditional medicine might treat, say, your stomach acid.
Yep.
And okay, we just have to
Yep.
get that at bay, but
Yes.
where's it actually coming from?
Yeah. It's amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Because the approach is that, of course, if someone comes to me, it's typically, it's a various symptoms. So then, of course, triage is the first thing, where so we want to try to alleviate the symptoms, but at the same time dig for the root cause. But a lot of times, say someone comes to me for weight loss, all sorts of things unravel from there, because there'll be different reasons why someone's not losing weight.
Right. And it's not just necessarily from overeating.
Absolutely.
It seldom is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you would be surprised. Yep.
Yeah. So, what are some examples of where it could be coming from?
Well,
that would be different than what you would expect.
Well, a lot is tied to the nervous system, and just being on like in a flight or fright situation where it's ongoing, where your body it's a pattern, and you don't even realize you're going through it. And then a lot of times, even something like being a perfectionist or those characteristics where that's just the way you are,
Right.
and have been. And then even like lack of passion or purpose in your life, sometimes that can cause it, and you'd never think it.
Right. It's amazing discoveries, and if you can unravel that and get to that, sometimes you don't need the answers, and I think things work out and balance out and things, but a lot of times if you can connect it and say, okay, yeah, and then I'm done with that. Let's move on.
Yeah. Most of the time it's important just to be aware, and then if you're aware, that's the best starting point. So
Absolutely.
Then it's your choice. Hey, do I want to work on this, and has this been working for me?
Yeah, do you get a lot of people that have just exhausted every other means and then they come to you? Like they go the Western med route and think, oh, nothing's helping, what do I do? And then they find you, or a mixture?
It's not all that often, but it does happen, and it's very fulfilling for me to work with those people because I really feel that I can help. And I'm actually honored that they've come to me, seeing that there's another way.
Right.
So, yeah.
But then when you were talking about switching things up, if it's not working, but some people get stuck in that pattern, or if it's a urology, seemingly a urology problem, they're going to go, oh, that urologist didn't help, so I'm going to go to this one, and then I'm going to the next one, and then I'm going to the next one, and it's basically the same thing, just different physician.
Yep.
So at what point, they say, oh, I need to try something completely different. And
So that is very important, because sometimes it takes a little while until they discover, okay, so I really do need to change this up. Or after a month or something, if nothing's changing. So.
Do you find people get that with that impatient, is they've been working on something and not seeing results, or watching things getting worse?
Yes.
So if they've gone, whatever route they were taking, and then they come to you and like, okay, I need instant. This doesn't work.
Yes.
And then.
Yes. Yes, because everyone's just interested in that, like, let me just take this pill or supplement, and now I'm going to be better in a month. But if it took you 20 years, unfortunately, sometimes to get to a state of imbalance or, or some kind of chronic health condition, it takes a little bit of time.
Right.
But,
you could. And sometimes you can get relief on certain things
absolutely
pretty instantly.
Yes.
But to really get to it, if it's been, and I guess there is that little piece that it is as simple and as difficult as just let it go and it'll, learn what you had to learn, it'll go away. But a lot of times you have to put some work in.
Yeah,
but,
sometimes.
Yeah. So we're going to pause here, and when we come back, Christina's going to have a little something to show us, a little hands-on way that she, a technique that she uses to test certain things and see what works. So we will be right back.
Aloha! Joe Silva here with Kukua Technologies. I'm excited to see you on Tuesdays on Morning Coffee for our tech tips.
Let's face it, lawyers get a bad rap. I'm Erin Brucey, host of Legal Breakdown, where we dissect legal topics for the everyday viewer, with a mix of interesting guests to talk about current events and hot legal topics. Let's work together to make the law accessible and relevant to everyone. Catch us every week on RVN Television.
A stroke can be easy to detect. A loved one can't speak, perhaps they can't move. But there's another sign of a stroke that many of us can't see. It's called spatial neglect, and it can occur during or after a stroke, causing distorted visual movements. Fortunately, there's a solution by using optical prism technology during rehabilitation. If you or a loved one have experienced a stroke, ask your doctor about spatial neglect. Spatial neglect. See the whole picture at KesslerFoundation.org.
Hey, welcome back to It's a Creativity Thing. I'm Lauri and and I'm chatting here with functional health coach Christina Marino from the Nutrition Unicorn. Did I say that right?
Nourishing.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. That's
so
fine.
sorry.
I know, you're
I got
thinking
your
of
nutrition
nutrition.
thing.
I know.
Nourishing Unicorn. So it's nutrition.
It is. With a twist. Yes.
Nourishing Unicorn. So another breath. Before we went to break, you were talking about doing a little demo with a tool that you use, and talking about energy testing and what have you. So can you explain a little bit about how you go about testing when someone comes in?
Sure. It is very helpful to individualize the plan utilizing energy medicine. I like to use a pendulum, although there are other ways to use energy medicine, like muscle testing, and a lot of chiropractors use muscle testing, so it's very tried and true, and kinesiology. So just to demonstrate, I'm going to have fun demonstrating with you today. So what I'm just going to ask you to do is I want you to say your name, and then afterwards, this will be, if it is your name, we're assuming this is a true statement. So usually yes for me is the pendulum swings to the right, and then no is to the left. So let's see what happens here when you say your name.
And if you have something handy, you can do this with us too. So my name is Lauri.
Okay, you see what is it moving to the left or the right?
It's moving to the right.
Okay.
Big time. It's kind of stopping at that vertical point and then moving to the right.
So, all right, so then you're going to say a name that, some different name.
My name is Marley.
You probably can't see. I don't know if you could see it.
It's moving very subtly to the left.
It's to the left. Yeah.
Yeah.
My nose are usually more like subtle for some reason. It's just less energy to it. Yeah, it's weird.
It's funny. I would have said Christina, but that's my confirmation name, so I think it would have confused it.
I usually.
Actually, I should have, and then. But let's play with that, because I know some of you were saying that she's moving it, she's making it stop. So let's ask something that you don't know.
Okay.
About me, or
well, we could ask. So you can tell me maybe where you're from. I have no idea, or maybe like what school you went to. I know none of these things about you. So we'll see. We'll see what the pendulum tells us. What energy testing is telling us.
Okay. So like where I grew up, maybe what do
you think? What you would maybe where you grew up, or a school you went to, or
okay. Okay, I went to Temple University. It's not moving so much, is it? Which way is that going? Now it's going to the right.
Yeah,
oh, here it
looks
goes.
like it's going to the right.
Okay, let's see. So
Okay, so now do you
try
want
another one? I'm not going to reveal yet.
Or do you want to? Yeah,
let's try another school.
Anything or something. Just say something, and we won't know whether it's true or false. Only you know.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Well, I'm going to try. I went to Philadelphia. I'm sorry. I don't even know. Oh my gosh. Okay, I went to Stockton University.
That looks like a no to me.
That's a no. Temple was a yes. That's a no.
Okay, is that true?
That's true.
It was a no?
That's true. That's a no.
Okay. Okay. No, it's usually fail safe. Now, I can tell you that there are certain times where energy testing will not work. It will be if you're seriously dehydrated.
Okay.
Yeah, that really affects things.
Interesting.
And then if there's some kind of significant spinal irregularity that's going on with you, that can sometimes mess with energy testing. So I usually ask.
So if you're not getting any movement at all, or it just seems totally way off.
Yeah, I usually ask beforehand. I didn't ask you, which I should have, but you have your water there, and I was,
I'm usually overly hydrated.
Yeah, me too.
So if someone they can do this on their own too, kind of to play and check things out, like maybe I don't know.
Yes,
You can hold and get a yes if you hold it over,
Yeah.
say your hand, and see
Yeah.
ask it which way's yes, ask
Yes.
it which way's no.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
And then go from there.
Yes.
And kind of play. So yeah, have some fun and see, and you can kind of get a feel for yourself to say, this does work.
Yeah.
And you can
Yeah.
ask it simple things.
Yes,
you
because
know.
it is helpful and actually a prerequisite that you do believe. So if you play around with it, you'll see for yourself, or you can just believe, knowing that there is something out there that is, I almost want to say it's quantum. It's physics.
Yeah.
So it's been working for a while, for a long time, but most
Yes.
people don't know.
Yeah.
So as part of my sessions, I basically will start or end them with, I ask what the major stressors are in their body and if they want to release anything.
Okay.
And then sometimes it's even helpful if I've put someone on a protocol or something's going on or a bad symptom, and I'll do some energy testing with that too, because it really helps to, individualize the plan and really, really help the person.
Right.
So, yeah.
And I think doing those simple things that you definitely know the right answer, the one that's not right. And you can say, if you're skeptical of it, you can say, okay, yeah, there's something to this. And you, do you want to explain just a little bit, about how it works with the energy? I know we can't get into like quantum physics now, but just about, the energy and
It's just basically
reacting,
how we're all energy, and there's like a 6-foot field around us, and even our thoughts are energy. Like our thoughts are things. So it's very, very powerful. I mean, I guess the only way I often go back to the lie detector thing. It's almost the same principle, where when you're hooked up to that thing, your body is reacting. There's like there's perspiration. There's different things, and somehow we emit energy out of our field, and hence the pendulum's going to pick up on it. Yeah, and it's there is a method though that I use where, obviously with my background, I'm knowing what to ask.
Sure.
I get
The
specific.
questions are
I get
important.
specific enough sometimes where it'll be like, okay, this person is a virus,
Right.
and then, well, what virus is it? And then I keep digging. I mean, is it a parasite? Is it Epstein-Barr? Is it?
Right.
So we can get really, really digging into the
Yeah, you
trenches
can
with
get very
this.
specific.
Yeah.
And so you've helped people with things, from a virus to hormones to, balancing things. And in the first segment, you touched upon a little bit of, the pandemic and a lot of things coming out, people, the stress of that, and things are happening with people then, and then they're coming out also now in ways. So you're helping people with that too.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of interesting, I see in most of my clients, I would say 5 people, actually clients in a row, where there's been an interesting dynamic where the hormones are off, there's a lot of mineral imbalances, there's it's something called methylation, where your body is not processing and cycling all of the I want to say what detoxifies things in your body.
Okay.
I'm seeing a lot of that. It's really uncanny to me. I don't know if it's tied to just something that's going on, or if it's radiation from 5G. We probably won't really know, maybe,
Right.
For some time. But
So you're able to help people move through that, even
Yes.
not knowing
Yes.
what it
Absolutely.
is. But there's stress from
Yes.
whatever
Yeah.
it's coming from,
Yeah.
and it's showing up, but in the same way for different people.
yeah, it's
which
amazing.
is,
Like
there's definitely a connection.
men, women, younger people. It's kind of it's really interesting to me. So I like to see these patterns, and then even with other practitioners, we see the same thing. And it's just it's not something that can't be. I don't want to say easily handled, but it's something that definitely people can get help for.
Right. Right. So you definitely, with respect to your profession, the creativity part of it is insane. There's so many different modalities that you utilize.
Yeah.
So fine-tuning them and figuring out which ones to use for whoever's in front of you at the
Yes,
moment. So
absolutely.
that's definitely. Sometimes you don't think of creativity coming in area, but it does. Like you're creating, just because you woke up today, and even when you were dreaming, you're creating. But so, do you get stuck ever, personally or professionally, where sometimes you're like, I'm not sure. Like, what do I do? So, what do you do in those moments? Not to put you on the spot, I'm totally
No,
putting you on
it's-
your
it's-
spot, but
It's not so much that I get stuck. I typically know, but it's whether the person wants to actually do it. Like I can help you heal, or I can be a guide to your healing.
Sure.
But you have to really be the one, and you have to believe that you can heal.
Right.
A lot of times, like for example, I can do a lot of things with standard blood work. Like the things that
Oh, right, yeah.
the doctors don't tell you. I can glean so much from traditional labs.
Right.
Like it's actually super fun for me to do. I love doing it. Yeah.
and that's interesting because I've had everyone's has had their blood work done, and they change the parameters
Yes.
constantly,
Yes.
and according to what drug they're trying
Yes.
to promote at the time. So these values used to be this, but now they're this, just
Yes.
because we want to get this in. So you can shed some light into what's really going on,
Yeah.
where the deficiencies or
Yes.
things are
And
for
patterns.
real patterns.
Yeah. And then we look at optimal ranges. We don't look for just, okay, this person is flagged as high, because that's already some dynamic going on there.
Right.
But we look at the optimal ranges.
Right.
And then you are correct where the changes, they do change the ranges. Because I am noticing like a lot of hormone imbalances, and in particular in men's testosterone levels, they keep on lowering the ranges.
Interesting.
So that's a trend that I see.
Yeah, men are supposed to have testosterone.
Yes.
That's,
It comes in
anyway.
handy, yes.
It comes in handy, yes. But anyway, yeah, interesting.
And then we have functional testing. So we have something called a Dutch hormones test,
Okay.
which is dried urine, which is an amazing test
Okay.
for women or for men, and it tells you the sex hormones. It'll tell you melatonin, neurotransmitters, cortisol, which is really important.
That's a huge one.
It's very big because of
Yeah.
stress in particular. So you'll see patterns when you get your results. And
Right.
then there's something called an OAT test, which is an amazing test too, which will tell you all about your neurotransmitters and a lot of times about fungus and parasites. It's interesting what you can
Okay.
see. And then food sensitivities, because just regular blood work is not going to really give you an idea of what your food sensitivities are.
Okay.
And that's a relatively inexpensive test. And then there is a hair test, which is amazing for minerals.
Okay,
And that's
yeah.
relatively inexpensive. So it'll tell you all of your minerals. It'll give you a little idea about your thyroid. The thyroid is really something I see a lot.
I bet, yeah. So, yeah, that's amazing. So you utilize, all these tangible things
Yes.
even though the energy testing for some people, it's hard to wrap around. So if you combining them, I think it's a very wonderful, you just cover everything. So tell everybody where to find you, please.
Okay. My website is www.nourishingyunicorn.com, and then I'm on Instagram at Christina at Nourishing Unicorn, and then also on Facebook at Nourishing Unicorn. So
Nourishing Unicorn.
come visit me or come send me a message.
Yeah, and please seek out. You have so much to offer, and seek her out before you get stuck with something really huge. And if you're going through something huge, reach out.
Yeah.
But,
And then there's a
touch
free
base before.
consultation. If I resonate with you, that's great. If not, that's okay too. Maybe you can get some information. So yeah.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
It was
you.
such
It was
a pleasure.
Yes.
So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Go out there and create some magic. We'll see you next time on It's a Creativity Thing.
Thanks.